Oh, hi. Hello. Welcome back to Dispelling the Myths with Ish. On today's episode of Dispelling the Myths, ladies and gentlemen, hypocrisy.
Did you hear that Snape might be black in the new Harry Potter show? But did you also hear that Cleopatra, a Greek Egyptian woman, is also going to be black? And Snow White is going to be Latina.
It's very obvious that I don't have to tell you where this is going.
My God. We'll call her Snow Brown. Jimmy, write that down.
Corny.
But wait, there's more. Chris Hemsworth is going to be the next White Panther.
How he gonna do that when he was already Thor? Huh?
And Crazy Rich Asians is going to be Crazy Rich Arabs.
You realize that there are, in fact, crazy rich Arabs, right? Hello? Dubai? And I honestly wouldn't be too far off. I'm drinking this coffee for dramatic effect.
Okay, I'm kidding about the last two.
Making false comparisons is a joke to you? Well, okay.
But seriously, why does this keep happening?
But seriously, why does this keep happening? We're gonna find out, darling. But before we do, continue with this bullshit that you talk about.
Look, I'm all for diversity in film. It was exciting for me when Black Panther became a global phenomenon. And it was refreshing when we got to see a half-Black, half-Puerto Rican kid get to be Spider-Man. But that's because those were organic diversity, not this artificial GMO forced diversity.
I'm curious if you have the same energy for the minstrel shows that have been going on in this country for centuries now? Or is your outrage just for white folks?
Black Panther was based on source material about Black people in a Black culture. Those characters matched the context, not a cosplay. Into the Spider-Verse changed the context through a multiverse, rather than changing Peter Parker's race. Both of those projects actually made sense. What doesn't make sense is changing Snow White, whose entire identity is in her name and comes from a German book, into a Latin baddie. By the way, why is it called appropriation when we do this to minorities, but it's appropriate when done to white people?
By the way, where are your videos about white people appropriating Black people, characters, and culture, or is this just selective outrage?
Mirror, mirror on the wall. Is discrimination fair at all?
Yeah, but only against white people, though.
Wait, what?
You do realize that history tells a different tale, correct? White people have quite literally been appropriating and caricaturizing Black characters and culture for centuries. Don't believe me? Ladies and gentlemen, receipts. Festivals, y'all. They had minstrel festivals so they could caricaturize Black people. You don't think that's problematic? Huh?
So it's time for a little education. Just in case there are Americans out there who may be too afraid to ask their best Black friend why it's so offensive.
Minstrelsy is a performance tradition that started in the mid-1800s. And what it was whites dressing up, caricaturing African Americans, mimicking their dance, their language, their music, providing comic relief for their audiences. Minstrelsy operates in two ways. In one way, it separates whiteness as something very distinct for Blackness and frames Blackness as something of the other and lesser than white cultural habits, ways of speech, song, and dance. It objectifies African Americans and distances them from their humanity. It made them seem foolish, simple of mind, not intelligent, cheap, an image and a stereotype that people use as a lens to judge African Americans from here on out. It moved on to vaudeville, musical comedy, musical theater, and also into television, radio, and films. You'll find the remnants of minstrelsy in a lot of forms of popular culture. Think about some of your favorite film comedies or television shows. When white actors mimic African American speech patterns or breaking into a moonwalk, in some ways they are taking on that same persona that the blackface entertainers did on the minstrel stage.
And see, you would understand this history if you actually were a Black American. Using false comparisons to say that Black people are appropriating and discriminating against white people is insane, don't you think?
Look, in society, race is real.
Yes, but biologically, it's not. Okay. Ethnicity over everything.
We don't need to pretend that we don't see color. We just need to stop dehumanizing people because of it.
Again, where are the videos of outrage towards the people who are actually doing that? Because let's be honest, playing a character true to form is not discrimination unless you're caricaturizing the character itself.
The ideal is to acknowledge race and not make it a big deal. But in classic stories and history, the impact of changing race is real. Cleopatra would have had a different life if she was Black.
Well, she wasn't white. She was absolutely melanated. This is the problem with operating in race and not operating in ethnicity.
Harry Potter would be a different story if Snape were Black.
Saying that changing the color of a character means that the whole story has to change is very simple-minded and obtuse.
Hey, Jimbo. Yeah, that scene where James Potter hangs Snape upside down beneath a tree. Yeah, we don't have funding for that anymore.
Lord. He levitated him. He didn't lynch him. Are you okay? Did you read the books? Because I read the books. Did you read them? Huh?
For sure. Let's push for Hollywood to be just as diverse as America is.
Black Americans have been involved in Hollywood since its inception. Are you okay? It's giving, I want white validation. It's giving, I have selective outrage. That's what it's giving. Anybody else with me? Huh?
But let's challenge tropes, not change the truth.
We've been waiting for you to do that this entire video.
And instead of changing stories that are old, let's find ones that haven't been told. Instead of giving old characters new races, let's add fresh faces.
Let's add fresh faces. They just can't be Black or melanated. Is that what you're telling us? Huh?
But right now, Hollywood, you're sending mixed messages. Because if the race of the cast matters, then the race of the characters does too.
It's funny how the race of the cast matters to you when they're white. When they're Black, it doesn't. Y'all see how that works? Huh? Moral of the story is, if you're going to be outraged by some of it, make sure you're outraged by all of it. And not selectively.